According to a recent survey, nearly half of Canadians said that they believe mortgage fraud is common in Canadian real estate. And almost 20% said that they wouldn't be opposed to mortgage fraud if they were purchasing a home. My name is Jessie McLellan and I'm a realtor here in Oshawa, Ontario, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about this article from stories.com and the recent survey asking Canadians about mortgage fraud. Now, I'm not going to go over this word for word, but I will provide a link to it in the description below. If you learn anything from this video or find it helpful, I would really appreciate you clicking that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on what's going on in the real estate market in Durham region and the GTA, then consider subscribing to our channel. The issue of mortgage fraud in Canada has been a growing problem in recent years, and the problem is being exacerbated by an unaffordable housing market. So this survey was completed by Ledger and BN and Bloomberg and Rates.ca in February of 2023, and they surveyed 1,521 Canadians over the age of 18 about their opinions on mortgage fraud. Of that sample, 47% believe that mortgage fraud is common in the Canadian real estate market, 12% believe it to be very common, and 5% said that they feel it is uncommon. But when it comes to securing their own mortgage, 17% said that artificially inflating income is acceptable, and 18% said that misrepresenting details of employment is acceptable when purchasing a home. Now, I thought this number was high, but at the same time, we know what real estate prices have done in most markets in Canada, so I can see why a growing percentage of the population could feel frustrated and feel like that was the only way that they would qualify for a mortgage. I actually went back and found an Equifax report from 2017 that also referenced a survey conducted by Ledger that asked 1,547 Canadians about mortgage fraud then. It was almost the same sample size and conducted by the same company, so I figured it would be interesting to compare what Canadians thought in 2017 versus what their opinions are today. In 2017, out of the 1,547 Canadians surveyed, 1 in 5 Canadians without a mortgage indicated that they were nervous that they would never own a home due to rising prices and want to buy a home but can't because of the down payment. 13% of all Canadians surveyed said they feel like it was okay to tell a little white lie when applying for a mortgage. And 8% actually admitted to misrepresenting facts on a credit or loan application. Now, a credit application and a mortgage application are quite different. If you're applying for a credit card, they might ask you for your approximate income, whereas in a mortgage application, the lender will be digging more into your tax information and how much money you truly make each month and your debt. So I wouldn't take that as 8% admitted to mortgage fraud by any stretch. The 2017 Equifax survey also showed that 16% of Canadians view mortgage fraud as a victimless crime. Regardless, it was interesting but unsurprising to see that since 2017, we've seen home prices increase, and at the same time, Canadians' willingness to fudge certain parts of their mortgage application has increased as well. Canada's mortgage fraud rate in the second quarter of 2022 was nearly 30% higher than it was before the pandemic. Equifax also found first-party fraud, instances in which applicants falsify bank statements, income information, or employment data, to be the most prevalent fraud in mortgage applications. When markets turn or interest rates see large increases, it seems like the number of people willing to engage in fraud increases, especially because the general perception is that more people are already engaging in fraudulent activities. Unfortunately, the people who didn't qualify for a mortgage legitimately are some of the first to get burned and feel the effects because they are most likely to be stretching themselves beyond what they can comfortably afford. Even if a borrower was to get away with mortgage fraud, the ramifications could be costly down the line. Misrepresenting finances could lead to a debt they can't handle, could damage the property owner's credit score, force the homeowner to sell due to financial pressure depending on the state of the market, and could also lead to prosecution if they were to get caught, because mortgage fraud is a criminal offense. Now, a few things to bear in mind with this survey are how the questions were phrased and how the surveys were completed, as well as who was surveyed. Are they mostly homeowners or non-homeowners, people who have mortgages or do not have mortgages, or was it more of an even split? Now, I'm not saying one group is correct or trying to discredit the opinions of anyone, but non-homeowners tend to have a different view on how common mortgage fraud is in the market than homeowners and other professionals in the real estate industry. Someone who has watched home prices rise and watched themselves get further away from home ownership could have a different opinion than someone who has purchased and sold multiple times in their lifetime, or an industry professional that doesn't work with people who would be trying to commit mortgage fraud versus those who do and encourage and facilitate it. I've heard a lot over the past year or more, $900,000, how does anybody afford that? And they can usually afford that because they're rolling equity over from a previous purchase. Most people who buy $900,000 homes aren't carrying a $900,000 monthly mortgage cost. The part of the 2017 survey that stood out the most to me was about trust in the real estate industry. 44% of Canadians trust real estate agents the least during the home buying experience. About 1 in 4 also distrust homeowners and home inspectors. 20% distrust mortgage brokers, another 16% don't trust their bank, and equally 16% have little trust in their insurance agent. Only 9% said they trust all professionals in the home buying experience. Now, I understand why people have those opinions. There's a lot that needs fixing within the industry, but I think who the average person is answering the survey is still relevant and should be kept in mind when reviewing this information because everyone has their bias. I would hope that more people who have worked with these professionals, perhaps multiple times, would be more inclined to trust them. However, before the CBC Marketplace report from a few months back, I honestly didn't think that mortgage fraud was as common as it seems to be. I still don't think it's as common as maybe some of the people surveyed, but it's clear there are certain brokerages, agents, and brokers who are or were actively participating in it. And regardless of who the average person was that was surveyed, it's clear there's been a bit of a drop-off in consumer confidence in this industry. As much as I want to defend the industry because the majority of agents and brokers I deal with on a daily basis are amazing at what they do and care so much for their clients. When things come out like that CBC report about mortgage fraud and then nothing really seems to come of it, no one wants to take responsibility, and it doesn't seem like anyone has been punished since, I can understand where that lack of trust comes from. Even if that's not how the majority of the industry operates, it's not a good look, and we need to continue to question things that do not make sense and continue to demand more clarity and transparency in the real estate industry. Anyway, that's enough ranting from me, but here's what I want to know from you. How common do you think mortgage fraud is in Canada? Does it surprise you that nearly 20% of those surveyed would consider some form of mortgage fraud to purchase a home? Do you think that number is higher because people are thinking that most people are committing mortgage fraud in some capacity? Please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, click that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions for me, you can always use the first link in the description to book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around until the end, and I'll see you in the next one next week. Bye.